Medikal is in the news. Me am one for Kwabnedu.
We're going to the hospital.
Kwabnedu Frimpong. Adu. See, Medikal has a song called "Welcome to Africa," and Medikal had sampled. See, he's been listening to the library. Medikal's new song contains interpolation of Alabaster Box's "Welcome." If you've been listening to Daybreak Hits, I'm very sure you know this. Okay. Now we are in the classroom. Kwame, good morning. Welcome. Kwame! Robert! Sate!
Now on Jesus. Oh, bye.
Oh, tsunami.
Yes, sir.
Martinez!
Ande.
Charlie, a more from me say.
Some more they are holding a room that.
Anna, you the home?
Watch it be soon.
Why? Oh, if you want to watch it, I feel organized watch it.
Oh, organize.
So $100 go fit sort you out.
Organize that very good.
What?
Organize.
Oh. I will sort you out with some.
I don't believe you.
Oh. Charlie.
I don't know, Jai.
Bemo. Yeah.
Interpolate some watch it.
Okay. Alabaster Box. Their welcome song. I want us to go into the classroom. The difference between sampling, interpolation. Kwame, are you working on it?
Oh, yeah, but I think, okay. So interpolation actually is when a piece of work is taken from some other work and it is altered when it's not the original for another work. Sampling is when you take the original part of the original copy.
You chop it.
So for example, if you copy
or you
the
lift
sound,
you lift it.
You lift the sound as was recorded onto your sound. It's a sample.
Right.
Okay. So the one you just played, the welcome that Medikal puts at the beginning of his song was resung. They did not chop off Alabaster Box's original recording.
So there's like a re-recording
or
re-performing.
It is an interpolation.
So they resung it. Yeah. And if you listen, Alabaster Box's welcome has all the voices.
Right.
Soprano, alto, tenor, bass. Yeah. This one has treble as soprano and bass.
No, it has alto as well.
No, the second voice in there is also singing the same treble in an octave lower.
Right.
So it doesn't have
octave low.
Yeah, it doesn't have all the four voices that Alabaster Box's song has. Meaning that they just re-sang and reproduced welcome. But it has the same melody. Same wording. Same lyrics.
That's right. So that makes it an interpolation, not a sample.
Yeah.
In the context of music, sampling involves using a snippet of an existing recording, while interpolation involves recreating or replaying a melody or portion of a song rather than using the original recording itself. I hope we are clear on that.
Rob, you say that part again?
The interpolation?
Yeah.
The interpolation involves recreating or replaying a melody or portion of a song. Right? While sampling involves using a snippet of an existing recording.
But there's a caveat to the interpolation that he wanted to hear instead of that portion.
Would you?
I think.
Let's go on.
Okay.
The sample is original. Interpolation is.
Sample
is a recreation.
You take the sound.
That's right.
Okay.
Let's speak with.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry to cut you. I'll get back to you. Let's speak with Albert Kito. Albert Kito is manager of Alabaster Box and is joining us from the United Kingdom. Albert, good morning and many thanks for joining us here on Hits FM. How are you? Hello, Albert? Hello? Okay. We will try and reestablish contact. Sampling, the definition is the process of taking a piece of an existing recording and using it in a new composition. Example, if you take a loop from a drum machine and use it in your song, that's sampling.
But if you play it again.
Now, the interpolation, also sometimes called a replayed sample. So Robert has some, Robert can also be right or may be right. It says involves recreating or replaying a melody or portion of a song rather than directly using the original recording.
So that's the
interpolation. That's the
The
interpolation.
difference.
Right.
Original recording using the
Right.
So the
Now-
so the killer cut
It's a sample.
is a sample.
That's a sample because
it was
they
the
lifted
original
it.
that
That's
was
right.
lifted.
Yeah.
So Hard Knock Life, Jay-Z.
Right. It's a hard knock. Like, yeah,
That's what.
that's a sample
That's a sample.
because they picked the original.
Uh-huh.
They used the original.
Okay.
Sped it up into the song.
So so tempo was changed.
Sorry. Yeah. So they sped it up.
Okay. And then they gave it instrumentation.
Yeah. And that's a sample.
Okay.
Once the recording is taken from the original directly, if you play the same thing in your own style, it becomes interpolation.
yeah.
Okay.
And if you leave it at that, how it was produced originally.
Speak up. Nija guy na me dey.
I sister if you know yes sir.
Na so no.
Big up to
If
Sister
you ask me
Fia.
where my voice no.
Where my boys know.
Big up to Sister Fia.
Okay.
I mean,
Let's see if Albert can you hear me please? Hello Albert? Albert, there was a tune come. Yeah.
Albert Kasa.
Okay. We can hear Albert. I think he's off the line. Okay. Right. Now, let's get deeper into this conversation. This is what, according to law, the copyright implication says. When you interpolate, you only need to obtain permission from the copyright holder of the underlying composition, usually the publisher, because you are not using the original recording. Got it?
Yeah.
Right. Now, if you sample, this is the copyright implication. You need to obtain permission from the copyright holder of the recording, usually the record label, and the copyright holder of the underlying composition, usually the publisher. Now, listeners, let's get into the reason we are discussing this. Alabaster Box, composers of the Welcome or Akwaba song, the Ghanaian a cappella group Alabaster Box have written to rapper Samuel Edu, popularly known as Medikal. Let's try and speak with Albert one more time. Hello, Albert. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Albert. Good morning. Albert.
Hello.
Albert. Albert Kito. The guy at GTV was Kito.
Atukito.
Samuel Atukito. Or something Atukito.
And I remember that Kito, but
Atukito.
Something Kito. Emmanuel Atukito.
Napoleon Atukito.
Napoleon! Sentence. Napoleon Atukito. That guy became popular. But that's why you lost. Thursday with the new throwback. You don't know Napoleon Atukito. For GTV News, Napoleon Atukito reporting. At the point, it was just like.
no, but if you were in
GTV
Ghana, you know him. But if you live in Kaswa, you don't know.
Oh, what I say?
Look for you.
GTV
I
there.
better go. It's a joke.
I only know Mr. Ampabene. That's how I call him. And then Akushika. Those were the people I used
What was
to watch.
his first name?
Ebenezer.
Ebenezer.
Yes. And then Joyce Midley too.
Do you know Barbara Sam?
No. These were the people
You never knew Barbara Sam.
No, these were the people I watched them. Like, I prefer to watch them.
Barbara Sam became Barbara Gazy, eh?
When you were in the other country.
And then eventually South Africa.
She's not in South Africa.
I think I saw her in South Africa. She was a high.
No, that was Francisco. Barbara Sam rather became the ambassador or something like that. One of the high commissioners. Okay, Charlie, time no day. Okay, since we are not getting to Albert, let's look at the key. Okay, before that, let me tell you about the rate.
It's a letter.
It's a letter. Okay, sorry. AMPA.
Technicalities.
AMPA is very, very important. No. For me, I shouldn't even make that mistake. For me.
Lawyer Niba.
Media, I should never make that mistake. The letter states that the first 10 seconds of Welcome to Africa is a reproduction of their song. They say the choice of title and the verses of Medikal song point to the fact that his work is derived from Alabaster Box's Akwaba. 10 seconds. The group also alleges that Medikal's aggressive promotion and distribution of his track on major streaming platforms also deepened the violation. The lawyers therefore demand the immediate removal of Welcome to Africa from all digital and traditional platforms. They also demand the cessation of any marketing, performance, or business related to the track and the termination of any contracts associated with this production and distribution. Apart from these, Alabaster Box also wants Medikal to render accounts of revenue generated from the song and disclose all individuals or companies involved in its promotion and distribution. They say failure to comply with the above listed demands will result in a legal action against the rapper. In the meantime, Medikal is yet to respond to the allegation. At the end of the day, let her not ban him. Because once they are asking him to render accounts of revenue, I hear 10 series and 100 series never. Because I know releasing the episode it's been days.
4 days ago.
4 days. Etika shebebade kakrebi.
Coins.
It's very more fast. Uhuso.
Technical.
Because I'm trying to
Okay, check here.
I'm about them, so it's better. Governor, we are with you. Now, key differences summarized. Let me, the definition, sampling, interpolation, using a snippet of the original recording, using parts of the original recording. Interpolation is recreating or replaying. It does not use any parts of the original recording. Copyright, it requires permission from the composition copyright holder only. Now, Kwame, let me start with you.
Yo, Andy. This is not the last time you're going to hear issues of copyright infringement. Mm-hmm. I don't know if some people do it intentionally or out of ignorance. Because you see, this particular one, Medikal has been in the game for some time now. And for him to have done this interpolation of welcome for his song without seeking permission, I'm struggling to understand why he would do that. If not for maybe for controversy purposes. Because he knows, or possibly, maybe, he thought if he used that portion, which is just 10 seconds and 4 bars.
Okay, hold on. Let me. See, Albert. Hello, good morning, Albert.
Hello.
Albert Kito. Albert, can you hear me?
Hello.
Albert. Albert, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Thank you. Albert, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Thank you very much. You're live on Hits 103.9 FM in Ghana. Accra, Ghana.
Yeah.
Albert, you are suing Medikal, or you are yet to sue him for using or taking interpolation of your song Welcome by Alabaster Box. Is that right?
I think your second aspect was partially right. So what has happened is we've identified the fact that our intellectual property has been used, and for that reason, we're trying to engage. And we just needed to formalize it, so we sent them a legal representation letter.
What will make this not go to court or not become legal?
So we needed to formalize it, and that is hence we having a legal representation who is part of the team. It's not a court sermon. It's an invitation to let them know that this is what we've done, this is what we've identified, and these are the requests from us, as in they should stop using it because there's not been any conversation with us. And so it's not yet gotten to court. It is all up to Medical's team to come to the table for that conversation. Initially, we've had some level of conversation with one of their team members, but we needed to formalize it. And since then, everything has gone quiet.
Okay, Albert, now these are some of the demands you've made. The immediate removal of the song from all digital and traditional platforms. Now you're also demanding the cessation of any marketing, performance, or business related to the song, right?
Yeah.
And also termination of any contracts. Now, what can be done to mitigate this?
At the end of the day, you cannot just use someone's intellectual property and without any conversation. Until we've actually had that proper conversation, we're still holding on to that demand. So it's up to the team to actually have come forward, have that conversation, so we know where things could be. But until then, these demands hold.
For educational purposes, how is he supposed to have these talks? Must he write? Must he respond to the letter publicly? Must he write to? Is there any address he's supposed to contact, or must it come openly? What should be done?
But there is a legal representation. The lawyer is written to the team, so the team needs to write back to the lawyer. And I think one of the things that in my experience within the industry is the fact that a lot of us don't take copyright seriously. And this situation is even heightened because Alabaster Box, all their music is being registered internationally. And for that reason, even if we want to take the case up anywhere in any jurisdiction, we have the right to do so, because I have personally registered all their songs internationally to make sure their copyright and intellectual property is properly protected.
Okay. For now, since it hasn't gone any far, we will wait or rest on it till Medikal responds, and we'll knock on your door again.
Definitely. We've not closed that door. We just need them to engage.
Righty. Right. Thank you very much for talking to us, Albert.
You're welcome.
Right. Listeners, that's manager for Alabaster Box, Albert Kito, reaching us from the United Kingdom. Kwame, you on it?
I'm happy he says that they engaged with the team, so meaning they have received the letter. As of last night, when I got the information, I reached out to the manager of Medikal, and he told me he was checking from the office to see if they had received any letter of a sort. But now that...
If the manager is not aware, which team member would have spoken to them?
I don't know, because yesterday I took the manager's number from Hagla. I had a conversation with him on WhatsApp, and he told me he would get back to me after checking from the office. But hearing from Albert, meaning maybe they've spoken to them, and just waiting for them to give their feedback as well.
Which could be yesterday after talking to you,
Maybe.
which is also possible.
Maybe. But I was talking about why Medikal will commit this mistake. Is it for hype purposes? I'm not sure Medikal, as old as he is in this industry, wouldn't know that if you take somebody's work in that manner, it is copyright infringement. I doubt if he doesn't know. And, some people may think that, after all, when I do that, the people in question or the owners of the song will just come out and complain, or they will write to us. We will just go sort it out, back door, and then the matter will die. So this is what I'm thinking. If it is out of their will or their attempt to get attention for the song by taking that portion without the consent of the owners, then I think we are not setting good examples if that is why this happened. Because you see, if somebody takes your song, will you be happy? If somebody takes Medikal's original composition and then uses that one in a manner that infringes on his copyright, will he be happy about it? No. So anytime there is a copyright issue and we're talking about it, we are doing so because the fact that today you are in the mix of things means that tomorrow somebody can also do it to you. So we as people in the media or in the industry who seek the betterment of this music industry always want to make sure that we set good precedents so that we don't have people just taking other people's works without taking permission from them. Somebody might say, oh, maybe they thought it was just 4 bars or 10 seconds, and so it wasn't anything, big. But you see, this is the heart of the song. In the heart, it begins the song, and then it serves as more or less like a chorus of the main song. And so if you pick the heart of the song, most times when people think that, oh, I can take just a small portion, when the thing goes to court, the lawyers would analyze and see which part of the song you took. If it is the soul of the song, they might press charges against you. So I believe that sometimes it's ignorance, but there are other times that I think some of these musicians do this intentionally to get attention. Whichever way it is, I know they'll just go sit, behind closed doors and then sort their things out. But when they finish, we need the feedback. We need to learn lessons from it. Sometimes, oh my God, shut back door. Okay, so we have to, you see, we need to know the lessons. We need to learn lessons from some of these things. So when the issue comes into the public domain and you grant interviews, we interview you, you put issues before the public, and then you go solve your problems. Let us know some outcome so that at least we can learn lessons from it. But
right.
after going for that meeting, can be.
Where do you Betty? Rob?
Yeah. So I'm happy you actually spoke to him because initially when I read the contents of the letter, I was like, Charlie, this is designed to cripple the music from flourishing completely. Because everything like pull it down. Complete from here. This render accounts like, my property date up. So basically, you are not at liberty to project this. And then speaking to him, you can clearly tell that
for educational purposes, let us make it clear that this is not anything to hurt Medikal, but it is how it is done.
Yeah.
Again, it's not only in Ghana. This is, in fact, in the West, it is worse. When it comes to copyright infringements.
I love that.
In the West,
it is worse.
Bars!
Man was born for the bars.
Yo!
I serve we consistently.
Straight.
You know what I mean?
But you're not behind bars.
At all.
Bars!
You're not behind bars, man.
Bars, it get different name. 11.
Right.
Anyways.
Unim bars.
So
essentially, after speaking to him, it is clear that all of the elements in there are actually designed towards him or getting some form of engagement. It means that they are willing to have a conversation. So I think it is good. Obviously, the ultimate goal should be how do we win together, really? Because he is winning, and they see an aspect of their property in there, and they are not part of the win. So basically, how do they establish the win-win? So hopefully, with that particular conversation, they should be able to achieve that. I think the challenge here is the fact that conversation, why wasn't a conversation held before the song even came out? Because if it was held, then you would have had all the copyrights cleared before, this particular. So you avoid this. But there are angles to this that you may want to look at, essentially. Is this being done out of ignorance, or is being done out of the fact that possibly, they're not going to do anything, or negligence, or is it because they are a gospel group? No, I mean, it's worth finding out.
Okay.
I'm not saying I know the reason, but
where's anybody?
The last time it was a gospel group that rather was accused of interpolating other
accused.
other gospel artists.
So by whom?
But
No, but wasn't it? Yeah, but who was the owner?
That's
He
quite
was a
a
music producer.
Exactly. So the music producer is a music producer, not necessarily an artist. So
what if the artist rather called the producer that wrong your Miami?
So he was behind.
That could also be.
or the artist called and said, "Charlie, they are projecting my song. It's nice. Like you see my song.
My money is going away.
Yeah. So those are the things that are questions on the mind. And again, one aspect is, so what if again the plan is, let me put it out there. What's the cost of publicity? Maybe 10K.
Yeah.
If I put it out there, the conversation that will be held is actually way more than 10K.
Of course.
And maybe like 100K. At the end of the day, I end up paying these guys like, let's say, 2K or 3K or 4K.
Which is worth it. At least it's a win-win.
So therefore, what does it mean? They will win, because I'll give them the money anyways. I will
save some publicity cash.
Exactly. And we'll still
my
have
energy of going around, going to beg and the dusty.
Right now, whether you like it or not, you talk about it. So yeah. And I'm not saying that is it. So I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions. So I think for me, it's just an experience that serves as a good school book for us to be able to learn from. And I'm sure, Medikal team, I'm sure they'll do the right thing if at the end of the day an engagement is held.
Right.
I'm not too sure anything negative will happen. So big ups to them, Charlie.
Right. Settings.
Copyright lawyer.
Hey, bro.
But you can set yourself in that angle.
Set
himself as a certain man.
I think that since the industry is not dead, we will keep hearing issues like this. But the most important is, how do we solve them when they come, and how do we ensure that we respect other people's work? Because clearly, that Nkofo have invested in their project, and they will not sit and watch you reproduce or use it in any form to, in a way, make some money from it. They will do everything possible to also recoup from their investment. Into a Kobanesa na kwese wama fufu bia toning kwemu. What's your share? And I'm happy that if you listen to the tone of Albert, Albert. Yeah. It's more of they are ready for a conversation in order for them to look at how best the issue can be resolved. So I would want to urge Medikal side to also, since they know this part of the industry, they will also comply with whatever it is so that it does not escalate. Because, in copyright cases, at times when you have yourself in the person's, you have your hand in the person's mouth, it's difficult for you to avoid any biting. So, they should comply with them so that there can be amicable reservation of the whole thing. Because, we share energy in the song by Medikal. You could clearly see that in Yumuno, so
if you've watched the videos, Charlie,
the energy. So
hey, Charlie, the video is videoing.
Man. So Nakuma wom. So if that's the case, he should do the right thing to own it well. Yeah.
Right.
Yes, for me, I think they have even made things easy for Medikal through the letter, because before they meet, they will have fair idea of exactly what they are going to talk about. They've been directed as to how the conversation will go, because they've been very specific. So as a team, they can sit and then look into all those angles and see how they will communicate that out. And I want them to hammer that letter, and so they can sit and then have a good conversation around it, and everybody will have his or, both parties will come to a mutual understanding and see the way forward. Because, like Adam rightly said, when you listen to the song and even watch the video, once you put out the video, then it means you are in for business. And when you listen to the song, probably there's no way Medikal can say he doesn't know of this implication, but I'm sure he saw it to be just a normal vibe, because once it's a welcome, once it's a content that actually projects Ghana or talks about, our heritage, or, welcome those from the diaspora, and he also having same content or having same intention, concepts about what he's trying to do or what he's coming up with, he decided to just tap in. And so maybe he looked at it from that angle, that this is not actually a serious thing. But once they've been written to, his team has been written to, then he has to do the needful, because this song could stand a chance of even getting nominated at the TGMA next year. And you wouldn't, as a musician, like to have this controversy surrounding it, because it may affect it. Because if you're listening to it, this is a very good hip hop. The kind of message he put out there. For me, I think when you look at even the Ghana flags and all of that in there, he's projecting Ghana, and so this is something.
Africa.
Yes, talking about the women and how beautiful they are, how they are all important. I some tried the concept of a Nina account.
Which artist sued his own son for using his song?
Here in Ghana.
There was,
Here in Ghana.
No.
It's the business behind. It's not necessarily the artist.
Yes.
It's the business behind
What does
music.
An artist came here, used Akon's song. I remember Ogrekumante was here. And Honorable asked the guy, I asked the guy that, but why are you using Akon's song? So now if he sues you, what are you going to say? Okay, when you see him, what will you say? I'll say, you should know that we are all African brothers.
I remember.
Straight up.
You remember that?
Straight up.
I say, you should know we are all from Africa. You are my brother. I'm
Supporting each
Africa.
other.
So if I'm using your music, it will be cool. Huh?
But yes, sometimes the artists might understand it from that, but the team, the producers.
I have two key questions.
Right.
Within a gospel space.
Is it for me? Or for us?
Yeah, I'm just asking general. I'm just thinking out loud. Within a gospel space, interpolation is the order of the day.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of like somebody goes like, "Hey, I released an album." You go and check. Then on
Plenty.
plenty.
There's a medley. There's a medley.
There's this. There's that. I don't know if there's I don't know if we can have a conversation about this and understand the legal implications. I don't know.
So the law should
Yeah, you're right.
The law should exempt gospel music from
I don't know if the law should exempt
from interpolation
or
and something.
I'm not. I don't know.
But they're doing business, man.
So
But the orientation some of
so
them
the question
have
is,
is really affecting them.
whether most of them
Yeah.
do it with the knowledge of the fact that they have to clear, clear the copyright components, and a lot of them do also with international songs.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
we have
yeah.
the local and we have a lot of international
No,
songs.
even local no cry no. Just local no cry dey cry.
So
A lot of them.
and so
Especially
it's
when it
huge,
comes to
happens.
Pentecost.
Because enyame adwuma na me.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
orientation.
Na say no dey enyuma yɛ to
That's
ne
on the
dada.
orientation of no.
So that's one. And then the second one is, let me go out of the gospel space. When when Hip Life was started,
Any anke betchom bebre.
Charlie, the interpolation stroke sampling that was done.
Yeah,
So the question here is, if you have any of these infringements, is it considered crime? Like a crime or a criminal case?
I don't know the legal.
Because I know when you commit a crime, it doesn't die, right? It doesn't expire. If it's for as long as it exists that you committed a particular crime and it can be proven at a particular point, it still holds, right? So I'm just checking whether in a situation like that, because imagine you started something way back in the past, and you're now a big act, and then some artist from somewhere would discover that, Charlie.
Oh, okay. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, you discover that some songs were sampled.
After 20 years,
After
they've now
20
seen that you
now
use.
Then what happens?
Oh yeah.
And that you're about cashing in heavily.
Then they can still go.
I
come for you.
just want to understand that space essentially.
I'm not
because-
a copyright lawyer, but I think they can still come for you
So
because
these
the
are-
work is still there.
That's what I'm saying.
There are certain
seven-
songs.
The work is still there.
Because Andy,
There are certain
interpolates
songs that after some years
177,
you can use it
70.
without any permission.
70 years after the death of the
Yes.
of the last owner,
Yeah.
or the last copyright
Hey.
owner.
The
70
last
years.
Yeah,
owner.
but,
70.
that tells you that we are discussing centuries.
But not all of them are 70 years. But I'm sure.
I think it has to do with jurisdiction. In some jurisdictions it's 50 years. In
This
others
Ghana.
it is 70 years. In Ghana it's 70 years.
Can we try to get some, legal perspective on this, just so that it puts
What
things
some
into-
say?
Well, these ones when
The
you
ones
read the
that are
copyright-
supposed.
when you read the copyright act, they are in clear. The 70 years is clear.
No, not the 70 years.
And the other ones you are asking.
Yeah,
the
other
those
I'm
ones,
asking,
those ones, you need a lawyer. You need a bit minute.
I mean, wait, I don't do anything with that. No, but there are lots of musicians that have, even in America, people have used songs. For instance, Vanilla Ice, when he did the
Yeah, Ice Baby.
Ice Baby song, the guy had, he thought he could run away with it until David Bowie and what's the guy's name? The guy that died of AIDS.
Yeah, that guy. Let's go ahead.
Freddie Mercury, right? When they came suing him, they wanted to same way take everything. Charlie cash and on Bob, and the guy couldn't pay, so let's not go to court. Let's do it on the side, and they did it on the side. Yeah, that one. When you be
Like Robert said, they are crippling you.
yeah, they took almost everything. You want to take Queen's song? Hey, dun, 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 dun.
But his guy was just the bass line.
It was just the bass. Oh, but there were a lot of components in
And
there.
then you can't be just the baseline about
Charlie.
There
I
were
mean,
a lot-
when you listen to the library, some
That's
of
why you
some
people
of these
don't listen
old
to the
hits,
listen, pa.
You
some
don't
of these
but
old
don't go
hits,
to the library.
Charlie.
Just for the record, because again we're on a platform that
But-
seeks to
but-
educate,
but-
we need to be able to get the years right.
the new
which
the
is-
gospel
As in how
gospel
long
funny there.
before you can use or you cannot use, or whether or not you can.
Oh, no,
use
by
at all.
70
Yeah,
years after
yeah.
the death of the last copyright owner of the
Exactly. So then, in that particular case, then we saying that. So
Then
then,
after
when,
that,
so
it
when they
becomes
say
a public domain song after
so,
that.
so when they say jurisdiction, like it depends on the.
But I'm
particular
saying that
jurisdiction.
in some countries it is 50 years instead of 70 years.
Ah,
But in Ghana it's 70 years.
Okay.
70 years.
Yes.
Ghana.
Yes.
What else you cry
After
you
the
use?
death.
What else you cry you use?
After the death.
That's
Yeah.
the
So
last.
that's certainly going to go
Yeah.
beyond 70.
Sure,
Then-
Rex Omar. Rex Omar.
Hey, go see you right now.
No, Rex. He used you know the song Fawa Kuma Mama.
Yeah.
Okay. When Rex used that song, CK Man sang that song.
Yeah.
So he had only settled with CK Man, thinking that
He was the
Really?
original owner.
original. So CK Man, because CK Man sang the song, but the original composers of the song were Ebo Taylor, Papa Yankson, Pat Thomas,
That's three.
plus CK Man. So four.
So the remaining three pulled up.
Four.
Yeah.
So the first person that called him was Papa Yankson. I would the way I mean you I used to mean you day. And to mama. Okay. We shall see. Then all you rushed. Yeah. Because you go settle with Pat
All of
Thomas,
them.
Ebo
Just one
Taylor,
copyright
CK Man,
owner.
but just one person go fit
Yeah.
clamp the whole thing down.
So Andy,
Tick
wait.
2 had similar issue with Pat
Pat Thomas, yeah, Mink Ebium.
Mink
Yeah.
Ebium. Sure, these.
So Andy, with what
7,000
you are
pounds.
saying, meaning
It's
that
for 7,000
They
pounds.
pay him £7,000 then.
Then.
Yeah.
wow.
Wow.
Meanwhile, you could have seen him close.
Sometimes
doors.
ignorance.
Yeah. So that's what Kwame Dazi is saying.
Sometimes.
So this information he's sharing now, if it's not available for people to learn from,
How do you learn
then
lessons from it?
what it means is that we are going to repeat the mistakes of our forebears.
Me fa kra mo nyame
You
hye.
understand? So how do we ensure that the weakness or the ignorance of the fathers is not passed
Sure.
on to the younger ones?
I can give you countless examples.
Yeah.
Ernesto Poku used Kofi and the Johnson song.
Okay.
There was a very popular medley, and the guy used just a bar.
Inspiration. Sound of my friend.
Must-
Nice, nice.
Share.
The
let me.
librarian is a
Andy,
post.
let me show
we
you
want to
this.
hear that
Yeah,
story.
the librarian is a
Maybe
The
post.
story you are telling.
Yeah. Give you an example.
Okay.
So this is an interpolation.
Yeah, interpolation.
Oh, I'm hearing Tapoli. And I'm
Meanwhile, he used just that line.
Yes.
and it's a big deal.
Of course it is.
It's a full song.
When Stoneboy did Sobolo or Sobolo Chef and Sabe Woman
Straight
and no
into the eye.
and I know
The melody was
different.
Yeah.
Into the
I remember
That one they
South.
squeeze
I remember
out.
South
Let us
Korea
see
song Kokoko with Aquabwa.
Oh, say no cry the Akabwa
when
sang the chorus.
Honorable got upset.
No, he sang all. And no cry the Otunina, but I no cry the well, it's
they are
like
quite
he had
chill,
lifted everything. But we are talking about just picking a line in a song and making it your own.
So those who
Thinking
see it
that
as a
you
normal
can-
thing,
yeah.
this is just a line.
You
It's
think that
just
is a line so you can run away with it. Yeah. I think just as Robert asked, we need some education power on it.
Yeah, very,
that
very
with
important.
just one line.
Case studies.
very important.
What happens?
Because Andy,
The
like
consequences.
like
outcomes.
I mean, when you listen to the library like this,
Yeah.
you get that understanding. You get the education that it is not one person who actually went to the studio to do the song. Probably there might be about 10-member team who worked.
Young
And so
generation.
when you have an issue regarding the copyright, then it means all these people are coming out to you.
I think when there's a particular case I watched where like somebody gave an explanation about this interpolation business, and it went back to about 5 or 6 people in terms of the number of people that had to be settled. Because I did the interpolation of Kwame's song. You didn't hear Kwame's song, so you came to do an interpolation of my song.
Okay.
Then Kwame now discovers
like a
that
chain.
my G.
Yeah.
Two troubles, one goal.
Then you also did some interpolation from somebody else.
Okay.
And then so there was one. They went all the way back to like 5 different.
Like
yeah.
Mario Winans and Ashes song. I don't wanna know.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Mario,
Imagine that song. The song featured Pop Daddy. Something Boom Masters or something also did their version of the song. Now, if you listen to the I Don't Wanna Know song, that sampled Enya's song.
Okay.
The same sample, Fuji's also used it in
Yeah,
Ready or Not.
Ready or Not, yeah.
Okay, now with Ready or Not, the song also was a 1969 song. And so imagine.
Right.
So the trace no be easy.
Go all
Charlie,
the
so
way
it
back.
goes like 7 artists at a go for one song, and you for settle all.
And all of them will pull up.
That's a going Moody.
Wow.
Don't joke.
So I think that and it is some big ups to the French embassy. They organized this.
This is Hits.